Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Ben and I'm a self-taught web developer who went from zero to paid full stack in 8 months via the Odin project. And in today's video, I want to discuss a question that I saw in the Odin project Discord, and that is, should you be an intern or do freelance when you are fresh off the self-taught train as a web developer? And I think that this, hands down, most of the time you just want to go for the internship route over freelance. But I'll cover some of my considerations why in this video. Now, I was trying to think why this individual, one of the individuals rather, who responded to this question would say that you should never do an internship and always do freelance. And the only thing I could really summarize is maybe they have a conception that as an intern, you're not going to make very much money whatsoever, whereas in freelance, you're going to be making big dollars, big bank, rolling out the Brinks truck to take all of your cash. But I think that is generally a big misconception because freelancing is very hard to do and do right. Now, let's look at freelancing specifically and why I think that's challenging. So first off, you've just developed a skill set in web development. You may know enough HTML, CSS, JavaScript to build some basic websites. You may even know enough to build some basic web apps. Okay, so your skill set, however, is going to still be pretty limited in scope and depth. Therefore, the projects that you'll be confined to are still going to be very small. Big projects that pay hundreds of thousands of dollars or even tens of thousands of dollars for web apps or really nice websites, they're generally going to be going to agencies, groups of people with more cachet, a bigger body of work, more clout behind their name, proof that they can build what you need them to build. So let's remove them from the dream. What's left is smaller clients, smaller projects. And in my experience, most small companies and organizations that want to build a website, it's kind of a second thing that they need to do or a third thing that they need to do in their business. It's not something that they want to spend a lot of money on. They just know that they need one and they're going to try and race to the bottom on budget and how much they spend. They want as much as they can get for as little as possible. In general, obviously there are people out there who know the value and are willing to spend the money, but I think generally that's how it's going to go. So as a freelancer who's new to the industry, you're green, you want your first gig, you got dollar signs in your eyes. First, you got to go find clients. That's tough. Have you ever had to try and sell anything? Have you ever had to try and sell a product or try and sell yourself? And I don't mean on the streets, I just mean as your own skill set, your person, right? It's hard. You're going to get rejected. And if you don't take rejection very well, then this is going to be very challenging. So that first off the bat is going to be the hardest thing about freelancing, I think, is just landing clients. Now, maybe you have a good source on clients, and that's great. Okay, so now you can get some clients. You can at least get warm leads. Now, what do you do when you have leads? Well, you got to discuss project scope with them, deliverables. What is the actual expectations? What are the timelines? How much are you going to charge? Right? You have to negotiate all of these things. Now in comes another skill set, and this is your ability to craft a plan and negotiate what you think you're worth and something that's going to be worth your time. Okay, because you can land a freelance project, but you may be someone who's really agreeable and you just get steamrolled and you end up making $5 an hour. So you really got to be able to advocate for yourself and be able to speak smoothly, anticipate problems, be able to negotiate with a client, answer their questions, and all of this kind of stuff. Project management is another skill that you have to have as well, because once you're going on the project, well, you want to be able to finish on time. Do you have the skill set to foresee the challenges and the actual depth of scope of work? Because a lot of things that happen in development are, well, we try and estimate timelines. And that really is just something that's next to impossible to do in software development, because the rabbit hole is always deeper than you think it is most of the time, right? There may be that one or two times where especially seasoned freelancers have systems down, they have code that they can duplicate. Well, then now they've got economies of scale and they can really hit the ground running. You're not going to have that kind of stuff as a noob who's freelancing. So that's, if that's not enough, then I think what you've also got to do is actually complete the project, complete it on time, and then keep a consistent docket of clients. Okay, you may get one or two clients that are good clients, You do well on the projects. Well, how do you keep them going? You're always going to have to be doing sales. You're always going to have to be getting out there, getting more leads, all the while you're doing project work, right? So you see where I'm going. Your work is actually pretty big in the amount of stuff that you have to do, and the skill sets that you require are quite broad. If you're someone who is not entrepreneurial or who has never done anything entrepreneurial in the past, I think this will be very challenging to do and do well in a way that's going to provide you with a stable income. And I think most cases people will probably fail in doing it, right? It's hard. However, if you taught yourself to code, that's not easy either. Maybe you've got the guts and the grit to do it. And I'm not going to stop anyone from doing that. If it's something you really want to do, prove me wrong. I would love to see that. There are people out there doing that. But for the majority, I think the rule is freelancing is tough. Now, internships, on the other hand, I think they're just amazing. I had an excellent experience in my internship at FreshBooks. I was there for 8 months, and I was surrounded by a team of developers, and they have an intern program. So depending on where you go, if you're going in as an intern, chances are they have an intern program. You're probably not the first, and you're probably not the worst. So you get in there, you realize you're in an environment that's set up for you to learn and succeed if you're in a good intern program. Now, not all are going to be that great, but I think generally you're going to have an easier time than if you were out trying to scratch it by yourself as a freelancer. So when you go to a company with an internship program, I think there's quite a few positives. One being you're probably working in a single product like I was at FreshBooks. It was a single application. It was a distributed system with many microservices, but the product itself was just a single product offering. We weren't like an agency working on 10 different applications in the stint of my internship. So it gives you the ability to learn the domain. It gives you the ability to learn the product and become a bit of a specialist in that area. And you're also surrounded by other developers. Now, if you're in a good intern program, you're probably going to have a mentor or a buddy. And they are so invaluable when you're trying to just get your feet wet and shed yourself of your green leaves and become more seasoned and experienced as a developer. You're going to be able to bounce so many ideas and questions off of them that you will not be able to do as a freelancer. If you're lucky as a freelancer, you might have a mentor, but you're really not going to be able to ask people questions, especially to people that already have a lot of context on the problem that you're working on. That's another great thing as an intern. The people around you, they've been working there for a while. They understand the application, the product, the domain, the technical aspects far better than you do, and enough to be able to guide you and help you. Another great thing in an internship is if you're in a good internship program, I had a challenge with this at first, but usually your tasks are curated for your level of competence enough to just stretch you and a little bit so you learn, but they're not so broad and deep that you're staring into the abyss and you can't figure out how to do anything. Whereas when you take on a freelance project, rewind back to that rabbit hole, you may have bitten off more than you could chew, right? Now, it's great if you can figure that out. You will learn a ton. But in internship, you've got more guardrails and the expectations, I think, are less, right? Someone's not paying you to provide them with a product at the end of the day. In an internship, you're really getting paid to learn. The company is investing in you more than you are providing them in value, especially in the first few months. Now, as time goes and you become more skilled, maybe that will, I wouldn't say reverse, but maybe even out to where you're adding as much value as the company is paying you. But an internship is generally just designed to help you learn. And the company's going to invest in you so that you become a good employee. They hope that maybe you'll stick around, right? And even if you don't, they've invested in the industry as a whole. And that's something that's special and unique about internships. And they are designed for you to learn. I think they are the best low-stakes introduction, low-stakes way of getting your first stint of professional experience as a developer, because people know you're going to mess up. You're an intern. People know that you're not going to know everything, that you need some easier tasks at first to get warmed up, and they'll gradually build you up. All the while you're getting paid to learn this kind of stuff, and that is amazing. Going out as a freelancer, you're not going to have that. It's going to be more of a you got to jump straight off that cliff into into that raging river and be able to swim or float. So I think internships are great for that reason. My experience in intern for that reason was very good. I didn't want to go straight into a company as a developer right away, just because I felt like it would be too challenging. And although maybe I could do it, it would be very stressful and just uncomfortable. You don't want that, especially after studying so hard for so long. You don't want your first experience to be negative. You don't want it to be demotivating. And that's, again, the great thing of being an internship. It's just going to build you up slowly, just pushing your limits. And, not every internship is going to be the same. Not all of them are great out there. And my dog's come to say hello. But I think in general, they're going to be better for you than freelancing. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. I feel like I've said enough. What are your thoughts on this? Freelancing versus internships. If you are a self-taught dev who's looking for their first job, what would you rather do, internship or freelance? If you're someone who's gone this path, either direction, let me know what your thoughts are. Do you agree or disagree with me? Okay, have a good night. See you later.